name is Dr. Tracy Stuarty, and today we're going to be talking about the Chinese medicine interpretation of pain. In this part one of a two-part series, we're going to focus on the external factors that can influence the development of pain in the body. According to Chinese medicine, there are three major factors that can influence the development of pain, which are wind, cold, and dampness. All three of these factors can be influenced by our age, our constitution, and how likely we are to get sick, as well as our behaviors for things like whether or not you run around outside without a jacket on in cold weather. Additionally, all three of these factors like to attack the same areas of the body, which include the joints and muscles, and in particular our hands and feet, knees, low back, and your neck. So let's begin by taking a look at our acupuncture man model and noting the different colored lines on the body, and each of those representing in Chinese medicine one of the major channels that our kind of blood, nutrients, energy, things like that should flow through. And assuming they're moving smoothly, we should be healthy and pain-free. If for some reason one of the channels becomes blocked or obstructed in some way, then we may develop pain in that area or an area adjacent. You can also think about the channel system similar to the interstate system around the country, and that maybe this is I-10, I-12, I-65, I-20, that sort of thing, and that as long as there's no major road work or traffic jams, you should be able to reach your destination relatively pain-free. But if for some reason you get caught up behind a major accident or a roadblock, something like that, you could be in quite a bit of distress and discomfort by the time you do reach your final destination. Using this kind of interstate analogy, I'm going to refer back to that as we talk about wind, cold, and damp. The first pathogen that we'll talk about is wind. And though it may sound innocent, extreme forms of wind, such as hurricane force winds or tornado winds, can cause massive damage to our roadways, causing roadways to be wiped out completely or big traffic tie-ups. So thinking about then how wind affects the body, you can think about maybe ceiling fans or an air conditioning vent blowing down on you for extended periods of time. Characteristically speaking, the type of pain associated with wind tends to have a very rapid onset, and it tends to move throughout the body. So although you may stand under the vent and have it blow down on your head and neck, that pain may move from this area down into the arms and the elbows and the hands. In the clinic, we often see patients with fibromyalgia, and I would say that a lot of times wind is a component of their pain because it moves throughout the body on an almost daily basis. Wind is also unique because it binds or provides the vehicle for the other two pathogens we'll talk about, which are cold and damp, to have an easier access to the body. Wind is a very good sort of combining type of pathogen. So now if we turn to cold and think about trying to drive down the interstate in a snowstorm, or when the bridges become iced over, accidents are almost inevitable in a way, and so too when cold attacks the body, inevitably causes pain. One thing that cold does is cause the vessels or some of the tissues in the body to actually constrict, and of course that's going to really limit the amount of blood or energy that can move through a particular area, causing usually sharp stabbing pains. Pains associated with cold are also commonly alleviated by warmth and made worse by being still. So one classic example that we see of this in the clinic tends to be osteoarthritis. That's a condition that's going to affect many of us, and very commonly affects the hands and the feet and knees, and usually it is associated with contracture type of pains or stiffness that are worse in the morning, better with warmth and movement. Cold is also unique because it's one of the few pathogens that can directly invade the internal organs by itself. And particularly our stomach, intestines, and uterus are prone to invasion, and more than likely you've had the experience of cold attacking your stomach through ice cream or a cold beverage, and you kind of grab your head and complain about brain freeze, that sharp stabbing pain in your head after eating ice cream that tends to have the rapid onset but also rapidly leaves as the body warms back up again, are common experiences of cold attacking the internal organs. The last pathogen that I want to mention that invades kind of from the outside is dampness. Dampness you can think of generally as humidity or rain types of things, but may also arise from wearing a bathing suit or wet clothes for an extended period of time. Dampness tends to cause heavy types of pain, also possibly numbness in a particular area. Swelling may also be a pain associated or a consequence of damp invading the body. One thing we haven't talked about is heat. Heat doesn't necessarily invade the body directly and cause pain, but is more a byproduct of the wind, cold, or damp blocking the channels, and then thinking with that restricted area, the energy and blood that should be moving through is hitting against, and that friction then will generate heat. So typically hot types of pain or hot joint swelling is usually the consequence of the wind, cold, or damp sitting in those joints for an extended period of time. If you would like more information about how Chinese medicine or acupuncture could treat pain, please give us a call at 512-937-3667 or send an email to info@doorwaytowellness.org. Thank you.